Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. For this video, I have no idea what to talk about. Once again, because I have just kind of jumped into this game with not really a clue what to talk about other than just how everyone's doing, you know? Trying to see if I can make these awesome jumps. I saw a video today regarding the nature of how... Oh shit, that was pretty well placed. Regarding the nature of how games nowadays get it wrong in regards to the implementation of casual versus competitive gaming, and I find that pretty interesting because I had that too. Because it's this weird thing, like, I play Team Fortress 2 a lot, right? And a lot of people complain about how, like, the last updates it really received were kind of destroyed the game's, like, core identity a lot because it focused too much on bringing a competitive aspect to a game that people didn't necessarily view as competitively viable, right? Like, it was just one of those fun shooter games, and it wasn't the main draw of TF2 to begin with at all, right? And I find that pretty interesting because most games that wind up being cool and popular to view and stuff, also in a competitive sense, like, at least back then, also kind of started out as something where it wasn't that deep, right? It wasn't looked at with the idea of, like, oh yes, people will have, like, super big competitions with this game one day. Like, sometimes it's just by accident, you know? Like, I know for Smash Brothers, right, the idea of there being tournaments and stuff was something Nintendo didn't entirely originally plan, right? And yet, it's flourished into this very large sub-community of people, right? Sorry, I kind of lose my train of thought sometimes playing the game. But a really big thing, I think, in regards to the whole conversation of casual versus competitive play and whether balancing a game around it is necessarily a good idea. My understanding of it, as somebody who plays games casually and competitively and finds a lot of enjoyment in doing so, is that I would say that people will make a competition out of a game if they view it as enjoyable enough to do so. And what I mean by that basically is that people aren't gonna let's see. I think designing a game to be competitively viable from the outset is a bad idea. Simply by the nature of, how do I put it? I think the game should be good. Like, just by itself, right? And then if people find it good enough to make, you know, a competitive nature out of, I think that should be something that comes, you know, down the road in the future, if people really find it that meaningful. I'll return to the Oracle Chamber immediately. No sweat. Oh, Guardian of Wisdom. I love these games. Very, very childish in nature. Really, really cool. Now I have to go through this level again. And I know I kind of harp on that point a little bit, but what I mean by a game being good is, like, Melee has a very engaging competitive scene. Like, say what you will about the players or the game itself or how childish it is, you can't deny that it's incredibly engaging to watch a tournament every now and then, you know? I think that goes with all Smash Brothers games, but Melee in particular, just because it's so it's so highly... I think part of the draw is that it's not really optimized at all. I think one of the things that kind of keeps the game really like good in a lot of people's eyes is the very notion of its imperfections. Because it gives people something to work with and, you know, have wiggle room about. And I don't know necessarily how a perfectly balanced game would look like necessarily, because frankly that's not important. Like, that's another thing too. People talk about competitive like balance and stuff, and are things balanced even for the game itself? I think you have to trust the developers to know what they're doing when it comes to balancing stuff, because balance is one of those weird things that I don't think people understand as much as they pretend they do. And I know that's like pretty hypocritical, right, coming from a guy like me. But and when I say that, I simply mean that I'm not a game developer, right? So, like, what standing do I have to be making these claims? And that's not what I'm trying to get at. I guess I'm just trying to get at the idea that, there was something a friend of mine once said, where he was taking... People take things, oh, shoot, it's time to jump. People want to turn things into what they think they should be rather than just what they are. And that's really the heart of the problem. Wait, there's something back here? The Bob has revealed to me a secret. Thank you, Bob. I was always told that that was Bob because he looks like Bob the Tomato from VeggieTales, which is something else I grew up on. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to shoot you so that you stop getting in my way. And I can't shoot this big blue guy because he's invincible to the stun ray. Or he just jumps over my shots because I'm a bad shot. Ready? 3, 2... Oh, I thought I timed that quick jump right. Oh well. Anyways, people turning things into what they think they should be rather than what they just are. Basically, I think that people are ungrateful and very impatient. For some reason, the Alt key and the Control key are not timing properly. I think the game is just lagging a little bit, but that's okay. Like, in this game, I know that some people would be like, oh, where's the variety, right? Like, you're just shooting people with the same weapon, you've got nothing to offer, right? This is just an old shooter game. And yeah, sure, it's an old shooter game, because it is a literally old shooter game. Can I stop him? There we go, I got him. But that's the thing, is that there really doesn't need to be much else to it other than just, that level of it all. I'm just gonna progress to the end of the level because I don't want to walk through all those stages again, even though there's a lot of stuff to get. Like, this game can be just simply enjoyed for what it is, you know? It's a simple, lovely game. It doesn't need to necessarily be compared to anything in the sense of, like, oh, what rating would I give this game? Like, when people give ratings, there's obviously these internal biases that they have, based on similar experiences they've had within, like, other games of that genre, right? And that's something else that people tend to not necessarily correctly do, I think. Is that they don't... I think people have forgotten how to leave personal biases out of it. And when I say leave personal biases out of it, I'm not necessarily talking in, like, a cheesy sense where people are like, oh, I have absolutely no stake in the... I have no skin in the game, right? Can I reach her? I got her. Princess Lindsay says, there's gear to help you swim in Three-Tooth Lake. It is hidden in Miragia. Or Miragia? Miragia. Thanks, Your Highness. And, like, personal biases, leaving personal biases aside is very difficult to do because people always have these different definitions of fun. But then, that same friend of mine that I was talking about earlier, actually talked to me about what he believes fun is. And he actually has a very objective definition about it that I pretty much agree with on all points. Basically... Oh shoot, I misstepped. Game over. Well, doesn't that suck? Motormaster. Well then, I guess I'm loading in 501. Because I didn't resave from the last time I played this game. Whee! Oh yeah, there's this little entrance right here. Now the objective definition of fun is that there's 4 key tenets of it, right? I guess you could call it that, right? Rules, dynamics, something to overcome, and lightheartedness. And this is very generally applied throughout any game, single player, multiplayer, any genre. My stupid... My control key is not processing my jumps properly, because the default controls of this game is Alt for the pogo stick, and arrow keys to move around, and then control to jump, and spacebar to fire, right? Anyways, rules are basically the groundwork of the game, right? Like, what you can and can't do in the game, and how best to achieve certain goals, right? Oh man, the Bob was in there. I want to make that jump again. It entices me. It compels me. Wait, why did I jump the same time he jumped? I knew better than that. Okay, anyways. Jump shot. Nice. Excellent. Alright. Anyways. I get too lost playing this game sometimes. Perhaps Minecraft... That's the thing, though, is that Minecraft is open world, right? So you can just kind of idle around a little bit and, you know, still be engaging while you talk. But the way I play games is that I focus a lot. And that's actually part of the dynamics of a video game, right? It's that there's rules, right? And then there's dynamics. And dynamics is basically how what you bring to the game. Like how you process the tasks that you're set out with. And see, I process this task in particular is very difficult because it is. I mean, I'm not the best platformer in the world, so I'm not going to have nearly as easy of a time about it trying to get around that specific obstacle or trying to get these specific items for points, right? But other people, they would have maybe an easier time doing it. And the dynamics of that... Oh my gosh, my water filter's just engaged. Ignore that for a second. Okay, cool. And, dynamics is basically how you treat the game. Like, if you want to have a positive look at it, you're going to have pretty positive dynamics to interact with. And what I necessarily mean by that is, dynamics can be stuff like playstyle, right? Like, speedrunners have their own playstyle. They operate on different dynamics, but they still play the same game with the same rules. They may have a different challenge to overcome, and that ties into the third thing, right? Which is a challenge, something to overcome. It's not necessarily the key objective of the game, because sometimes people view that objective differently. Like, some people just want to get to the end as fast as possible, while some people want to collect the most points as fast as possible, right? And I'm somewhere in the middle where I want to collect as many points as I can while also trying to, you know, get through the game as fast as possible. 100%ing isn't something I've ever been very good at, and so it's something I would love to be better at, for sure. Oh shoot. I would also love to not fall so much. Whoa. There we go. Run under the mushroom and go. And we free the wizard. Okay. So, that challenge to overcome can vary depending on what you want to get out of the game. What dynamics you bring to the game will sometimes, not always, but it will sometimes affect your personal enjoyment of the game. Okay, so now I'm going to save the game right here. Because I don't want to... I don't want to keep dying and having to respawn, right? Now, in a game like Team Fortress 2, like what I sometimes play, right? The objective changes all the time because there's varying game modes with differing objectives. And that's all, like, fine and dandy, right? Because, of course, that's the whole draw of the game, is that there's a great deal of variety to it in playstyle and objectives and stuff like that. And also the lightheartedness aspect. The lightheartedness aspect is weird because it's more what the game, the spirit of the game that you can draw from it, right? Like, if dynamics are what you bring to the game, the lightheartedness is what the dynamics of other players bring to you. It's not necessarily what the game brings to you, because that's the something to overcome, right? The game can sometimes, maybe not explicitly, but certainly implicitly, like in regards to speedrunning, that kind of objective can be brought about by nature of the game existing, like people speedrunning Commander Keen or something, right? That's not something I'm going for right now, but maybe it's something I try, like, you know, down the road. Although I have a long way to go before I even get close to that good. I don't even know if there's glitches in these games that I would have to learn and memorize, you know? And those are its own mechanics and dynamics to bring towards the game, is that skill that people have figured out for me and that I have to learn and stuff, or whatever tech I learn for myself. And that's kind of the funny aspect of games as a whole, is the lightheartedness. It all ties together so well, right? Let's just get through this. And then, those are really the four key tenets of fun, right? The lightheartedness and the something to overcome, the dynamics and the rules, right? And people have a difficult time, like, considering all of this, apparently, because from what I see, a lot of people don't seem to understand this to be the actual meaning of fun. And wow, I cannot jump on platforms at all. Well, it looks like I'm dead again. Time to load back in. Let me look through other levels and see if I can play through those. Oh my. Ooh. Big mountains are scary. I think I'm going to play some other levels first. Maybe there's another level. Oh, pyramids. Whoa, pyramids. That's so cool. Okay. Now, an application of all of these aspects is difficult to... Ooh, fun. A big glass dome that turns invisible. An oasis. Mirage. Gotcha. Anyways, a proper application of all four of these dynamics is something that a lot of people, I guess, forget to have a lot, because it never occurs to them to try to bring those elements to a game, right? Like, that's kind of why ragers exist, because they're missing some of those key tenets, and I guess part of that is that it's only within those specific moments too. Like, a lot of people can just have a bad day, you know, and so they're not exactly on their best behavior, but you know, they grow back into that better behavior, right? Can I get over there? Yeah, I can. Woo! That was stressful. This game is certainly generous with ammo. And so, I guess it's all part of being a good sport, I suppose. Because good sportsmanship is the best combination of all of those elements. Which would be something to the effect of being competitive enough, right, to where you are playing to win. Because if you're not playing to win in some capacity, you're kind of avoiding the objective to overcome. And that's not necessarily a great application of what the game tries to set out to do, and what you should be setting out to do, honestly. I mean, that's why I don't like friendlies in online games, right? I consider them to be a deterrent from the main objective, and frankly a great annoyance, because they don't play to win, and it's difficult to play with people like that, because at that point it's not even playing with them. It's just kind of, you know, existing alongside, and it can be a bit much, you know. Aha, I shot you. Man, this is a difficult part. I gotta focus up. And so, I think the takeaway from all of this... I'm not gonna get that swim gear yet, because I want to explore the level more. Okay, that was pretty narrow. Whoa. Oh shoot. I can't move because my head gets stuck in the wall? That's crazy. Okay. Anyways. A proper application of these rules, I suppose, would be to be competitive enough to where... Oh, gosh. Competitive enough to where you can play to win, right? And then, at the same time, accept your loss, right? Be a good sport. Understand that the game is very dynamic in such a way that there are many things to do at once. Like, sometimes it's more clear-cut than other times. But I think that a lot of the time people seem to lose sight of how difficult some things can be. And just by nature of their, the difference in situation. I see a lot of people forget nuance in certain environments, which is frustrating, right? Like, I promise I'm getting somewhere with this. Let me know if I'm being too stammery, by the way, and I will do my best to improve on that. But I think a big example currently is in Team Fortress 2. Yet again, another Team Fortress 2. Oh. Cool, I can breathe underwater now. Oh, I guess that's the end of the level. Alright then. Sick. I'm gonna go back to this one then. And save the game over here. Sniper from Team Fortress 2 is a very contentious class because he's the only class that can long-range kill people. Which you think would be, like, kind of easy, right? Because most other shooter games nowadays have the ability to headshot a lot of people, and if not that, then at least the headshots do more damage. But because people seem to think that the design philosophy around TF2 is to have close quarter combat, then it's like it takes away from what the game actually is, which isn't necessarily that. It's a team-based I wonder if her message will change now that I have... Oh, her message doesn't change, okay. Oh, turn the switch on. Now, I currently see a lot of the people within Team Fortress 2 that have this complaint as very spoiled brats, basically. Because in Counter-Strike, for example, pretty much every weapon can headshot if you know what you're doing. What's this platform part again? Oh! I don't know how to be careful right now. I keep missing. Hold on, I gotta focus on this. Okay, I'm on. Let's not miss. Okay. Sign on here. Oh gosh. The rocks are after me. Oh gosh. I'm just gonna exit the level because I don't know what to do. Bye. And I can't replay the level once it's all done. Time to save again. The idea that Sniper is, like, effectively bad as a concept is a little weird, considering that these types of complaints wind up being very recent for being a 17-year-old video game, right? And I always find them weird because everybody has their complaints about stuff, but it mostly boils down to not being currently good enough to deal with the situation. In effect, it's a skill issue, right? That's what we know it as. And I am not very favorable towards skill issues because most people will tend to make it everybody else's problem that they're bad, right? Which is what the whole anti-sniper stuff basically is. It's making it... Oh, cool. How do I get out? How do I get out? I don't even know. Oh, there we go. I got out. People turn the character into, everybody else, like, they make their own personal problem of not being good enough. Oh, I missed the shot. San Diego. I think that's pretty funny of a level name. I just find it to be pretty stupid to have to turn this notion of something very realistic in shooter games, or just real life war in general. So the very fact that only one person can do it kind of makes it pretty easy money from that standpoint. I'm not gonna enter here again. I can go without the points. Actually, no. Just the next. No, that's pretty good. Okay. There we go. I got out. Sorry, it's a bit late, so my brain's kind of deteriorating right now. But in effect, the idea of aim, like the need to aim your shots being a super bad thing, is kind of confounding to me because... Aw, game over. Alright, well. The keenest, huh? Anyways, just kind of that. I just kind of want to discuss about the definition of fun and how it applies, right? Because the reason why I bring up Sniper from Team Fortress 2 is that he keeps the dynamic outside of the medium to short range scope, like tunnel visioned aspects that people like to get locked into a lot, because they seem to think that that's the actual design of the game, and that Sniper's very existence in the game is somehow an accident. And they kind of imply that. Oh shoot, just touching the cannons makes you die. The little dart guns, I guess. Anyway, I find the whole thing to be utterly stupid because there's no reason that people should complain so much, because there's a lot of different ways to counter every class in Team Fortress 2, and Sniper is pretty easy to counter. In fact, on a separate channel I'm going to make a whole series on it, which is weird because I'm a Sniper main, so hopefully I'll be able to provide some insight from that standpoint, though, considering that I, of all people, should know better than everyone how to, like, counter such a class, because I know all of his weaknesses. And people like to think that he invalidates his own weaknesses because he can theoretically instant kill a lot of people, but in practice it's so difficult to do that honestly the comparison isn't even generous. And I find it to be frustrating when people think it's the same. This is a bit of a stressful part of the game. Whew. Anyways, I think the main tie back to the point was that Sniper challenges people's perception of fun because they think that the game is providing them something to overcome that isn't right, when in reality it's not that the game is wrong, it's probably that you're not approaching it right, because there's a huge difference between that and like a badly designed game, right? And most people are able to know a badly designed game when they see one, and at that point it's a matter of choosing whether or not to actually engage. Oh my gosh! I didn't even know that was there. Choosing whether or not to engage with that objectively bad game. Like, there's this knockoff Wii game called M&M Kart Racing. It's basically Eminem's clone of Mario Kart, and it's really bad. Like, it's a horrible game, but it's so funny because of how bad it is that, like, at that point you just choose to engage with the badness because it brings you a different kind of enjoyment, and that enjoyment, the whole objective of that is basically just to try to not succumb to the bad design of the game, which is practically impossible because, you know. Ooh. It's a pretty bad game. Anyways, the way that Sniper doesn't necessarily like challenge that. Oh, I messed up. Oh, that stinks. Well, I should probably go anyway. I've probably been talking your ear off for far too long. But anyways, I just kind of wanted to talk about fun, really, and the definition of it, because I think it's something that a lot of people don't talk about properly. So yeah, have a good day, everybody. I will see you all next time.